Lee Sin is an incredibly well-rounded jungler, with huge damage, shields, and an insane amount of mobility that is only matched by his ability to make some amazing team fight plays. He really is a jungler that we wish we could all be good at. We've seen some phenomenal Lee Sin players, such as Insec, the Korean pro player who literally has a Lee Sin combo named after him. Broxa, the European, now North American jungler for Team Liquid, is known for his aggressive Lee Sin plays. And finally, Gripex, the solo queue Lee Sin god who has literally more montage plays than I have games of League of Legends played. For this video though, we are going to be focusing on this player, the 29th of December, a Korean Grandmaster jungler who is considered to be the best Lee Sin in the world. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Twigger, that of course is Lola, and we are back with another #1 player in the world episode, and this time very excited to be featuring Lee Sin. I've been waiting for this video for so long because high tier Lee Sin mechanics are always absolutely insane to watch. So currently there's not much to watch because he's standing in the base, but this is 29th of December, and he is the #1 Lee Sin player in the world. 75% win rating in 134 games. Korean Grandmaster Lee Sin player with a KDA of 7.2 kills, 3.3 deaths, and 8.8 assists, which is absolutely crazy. We know Lee Sins tend to get a lot of kills, but to also have that high of an assist count in 134 games means that this Lee Sin player really enjoys team fighting. Now, in terms of the runes that this player tends to run, in the precision tree, goes for Conqueror, Triumph, Tenacity, and Coup de Grace, with Domination as the secondary tree with Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter, and Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and Armor for the remainder of his runes. Now, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to know when more of these videos come out. I release 5 videos a week. We have 7 full days of entertainment for you, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like this #1 player series. But back to the action of this Lee Sin, just some stats that we can talk about here before the game really kicks off. In terms of who we've got in this game, up in the top lane, we've got an Irelia versus an Aatrox. In the jungle, Elise versus Lee Sin. Lucian versus Rumble in the mid lane, and then an interesting bot lane of Misfortune and Thresh versus Cassiopeia and Nautilus. So Cassiopeia, of course, got the Conqueror, gonna be an insane hyper carry late game, but they do not have an ADC on this team, so they're gonna have to focus on the Lee Sin and the Aatrox bringing a lot of that damage down. But for this current player, as we can see by the performance summary that's up on the screen, generally this Lee Sin player is better in every regard over like average master tier Lee Sin players, and that includes being better in terms of getting more gold per minute, creeps per minute, KDA, damage, and kill participation. And in terms of some of the other stats that we've got here, his team fight participation averages at 86.2%. We are going to focus on the Lee Sin, but it does look like there's a gank up in the top lane and the flash coming out from the Aatrox. It looks like it's going to get engaged on after that repel from the Elise and the flash coming down as well, so that's going to be first blood in favor of that Elise, so some scary stuff. In terms of some more stats from this Lee Sin, his damage to turrets is 1,769 damage, where the average master tier Lee Sin tends to do 1,145. So this player tends to really focus on getting those turrets and killing them as fast as humanly possible. And that might also be because he tends to get the Rift Herald in 68% of his games over his opponent. So definitely shows that the more Rift Heralds you get, the more damage you're going to be doing to turrets. In terms of his overall leads, by 5 minutes, he tends to have a CS lead over his jungle opponent, and that goes throughout the entire game. But we are going to have our first little fight here. The counter gank coming from the Lee Sin. The Aatrox did take a lot of damage, but Elise right now does not have any flash. The repel is going to go down. A lot of damage going down onto the Irelia. She's currently very squishy. The flash coming down as well from both the Lee Sin and the Irelia. Is he going to land another Q? He's not going to land the other Q. Gets behind the minions just in time to save the Irelia's life. Right now, the safeguard is going to come down from the Lee Sin. Another Q is going to be very, very ready in 1 second. Is it going to land? It is going to land, and that Elise is going to go down. 300 gold going in favor of our Lee Sin. So that was his first little gank there, getting his first kill of this game, and also going for that scuttle crab to give him that little bit of an advantage. The last stat that I want to talk about in this game is his damage taken and his damage given, but we are actually not going to talk about that quite yet because the heal coming down from the Cassiopeia, damage being thrown out. It looks like the red side ended up winning that fight, but Lee Sin tends to deal about 528 damage per minute, which is almost 100 damage more than the average master tier Lee Sin, which is pretty nutty, and he just happens to take a little bit less damage per minute than the average master tier Lee Sin. So Some absolute crazy statistics coming out of this guy. So I'm going to be very excited to see what his mechanics are like. The Aatrox did happen to die again in that lane, but it looks like right now the Lee Sin is heading towards this bot side. The Nautilus does not have his flash available, though the Cassiopeia does. But I love seeing high-level Lee Sin mechanics. I love how I say high-level Lee Sin mechanics while he misses the Q on the Scuttle. Leave a like and a comment on this video for every time that the Scuttle Crab has juked one of your abilities, because it happens all the time to me. But also leave a comment for what champion you want me to focus on next. You want to see what the #1 Lux player is like, the #1 Jinx, the #1 Xerath. Let me know what you folks want to see, and I will try to get it done. But I love seeing high-level Lee Sin mechanics, because there's just so much that you can do on this champion. When you have ward jumps, when you have flash kicks, you have insect maneuvers so you can bring people into your team. There's so many things that you can do on this champion that I personally cannot do because I am a plat scrub. So it's very exciting to me to see a high-level Lee Sin play in this game. This is Korean Grandmaster. It is early off in the season, though, so this is going to be a challenger player guarantee. He's currently ranked, I think, 504 on the Korean server, and it's only been a couple weeks into this season. So going to see a lot of amazing stuff coming out of this player, but is going for his first back on the day. Does have that first kill. Elise actually went for the mobility boost, so really wants to get that roam going. And it looks like the Lee Sin is going to go for the Tiamat first. So does have that Hunter's Machete. Not going to finish that off first thing. Just going to go for the Tiamat to get a little bit more clear in his jungle. That could very well be why his minion advantage is so high over his opponent, is because he gets that early Tiamat. But we did see that the Elise just cleared this side using that cone. But the Lee Sin is up here for a potential counter gank. Now, in terms of this fight, the Aurelia is currently level 6, so I don't think the Aatrox is going to win this fight, and I don't think they're going to win this fight if the Lee Sin even comes down. A lot of damage going down, but it looks like the Lee Sin is going to come in to clean up that kill, which is very impressive. The ward jump is going to go and close the gap between this Elise and the Lee Sin. Lots of damage going down with the slow. Spiderlings are now dead, so she is going to lack damage, but the Lucian is here, and it looks like the Rumble is pinging that. The Lee Sin is going to go in, the Repel going down, lots of damage going down, but it looks like we do have the control ward just to jump away from that one. The Rumble ult is going to come out, huge equalizer coming out of the Rumble, and the Lee Sin not going to land that Q, but the Rumble doing a lot of damage with that Flame Spitter onto the Lucian. If that Q had landed, that would have been absolutely gigantic. Lee Sin is now level 6, so he does have that Dragon's Rage if he chooses. It's going to land onto the Elise, and it's going to get the Dragon's Rage off. Now the Slow going down, and the Rumble Flame Spitter with the flash is going to be enough, even through the flash of the Lucian is going to be enough to secure them 2 kills. Some amazing plays on that one. I was just waiting for that Lee Sin to hit level 6, landed a great Q on that Elise in the end, and even before she could repel if it was even up, managed to get that execute from the Dragon's Rage kick. A great equalizer from the Rumble to slow everybody down so the Lee Sin could follow up on that. Just mechanics, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we look up to. This is why we watch Korean solo queue, because it is just so freaking impressive. So now, our Lee Sin currently sitting at 3-0-1 with a 300 gold bounty on his head. Very curious to see what he picks up next. So interestingly enough, he went for the Caulfield's Warhammer, which of course gives him a little bit of additional attack damage, but the most important thing is that 10% cooldown reduction. As a Lee Sin player, you know, you want your abilities on lower cooldowns. I think it's a very, very impactful summoner thing to have, is just the lower your cooldowns, the more you can throw out your abilities, and the more that you can throw out your abilities, the more you get to utilize that passive, which of course increases your attack speed for 2 attacks, and they restore energy. So, you know, getting your spells off, faster rotations definitely means a stronger Lee Sin in general. So right now it looks like the blue side is setting up for a potential dragon, at least that Scuttle Crab, but the Lee Sin did just take down that blue buff. Nautilus and Cassiopeia are currently rotating up. The Thresh is going to lantern out that Misfortune, but it looks like the Aatrox being caught out a little bit here. A great hook onto that Rumble, but Lee Sin is here. The Q is going to land onto the Thresh, and it looks like the Exhaust is going to stop the Lee Sin from going in. The Thresh hook is going to go a little bit wide. That Dredge line just not connecting the way that he wanted to. So right now it does seem like the blue side does have this pretty substantial team fighting advantage, because this Aatrox right now just not doing the best. 62-41 and 3 deaths already to an Irelia who's already built an Executioner's Calling, so that's going to be, it's going to work wonders against an Aatrox. But right now it looks like everybody on the blue side decides to kind of peace out, and it's going to leave the dragon wide open for this Lee Sin. Now the Irelia is here with the Lucian, so they might be able to kind of stop this, but they just do too much damage. So that is going to be the dragon. The Thresh hook did come out to try to secure that steal, but the Lee Sin is going to pick up the first dragon of the game in favor of his team. 9 minutes in, 14.4k to 13.3k, just a simple 1,000 gold lead in favor of this red side. The Cassiopeia is currently getting into a little bit of a scuffle with that Thresh, but looks like everybody's going to walk away with that one unscathed. But some pretty intense gameplay already, just 9.5 minutes into this game. A lot of different control coming out from each team, and Lee Sin right now clearing out his red buff. I'm going to be interested to see if he does go for an early Rift Herald. Seems to want to always go for early Rift Heralds, considering that he has it like 68% of his games he gets the Rift Herald. So curious to see if he's going to aim for that one. But in terms of the CS lead, like what we were talking about before, look at the difference. I didn't even realize this before. 70 to 38 in favor of this Lee Sin. So the Elise has tried to get these ganks going, hasn't been particularly successful in the ganks, and she has now just fallen 30 CS behind this Lee Sin, which is insane. Lee Sin is basically tied with most of the farming laners, which is just very, very impressive at 10 minutes into this game, and he is now going for that Rift Herald. The Elise is nowhere to be seen, so this is going to be the first Rift Herald going in favor of the Lee Sin. And now, the thing about taking this Rift Herald so early is that it will be up in time for a potential second Rift Herald. Now, the curious thing is going to be, where does he choose to drop it? Normally, he would probably aim to get a kill in a lane and provide some pressure and then drop it, because the early Rift Herald, oh, he's just going to drop it immediately. So the Nautilus is roaming up to provide this little additional support. But the most important thing is just getting as many plates as humanly possible, trying to get as much gold as you can into the pockets of your team. So that's already 3 plates going down in the mid lane. The Rift Herald definitely did its job there. 3 plates going over just to secure a little bit more of a gold lead, now almost at 1,500 for that gold lead. So once again, great little play coming there from the Lee Sin, 77 to 43, just such a gigantic lead. But you know, we can also see a bit of a lead in favor of that mid laner. Cassiopeia getting caught out a little bit here. The ultimate going down onto the Elise and also the Thresh, but the bullet time is going to come out. Going to miss the Cassiopeia, and the flash coming down just a little bit too late. The last auto attack is going to be enough to clean up her, but a really, really nice little ultimate followed by a juke from the bullet time was pretty darn impressive, if you ask me. But back to the Lee Sin, back to the man of the hour. In terms of his items, he still hasn't gone back in quite some time, so I'm assuming this guy has quite a bit of gold that he's sitting on. I don't know if he's going to try to finish off his Tiamat to go into a like a Ravenous or a Ravenous Hydra or something along those lines, or if he's going to look for finishing off his jungle item. But here we go. The Nautilus ultimate does go for quite some ways. The Q is going to land after the Dragon's Rage. Thresh taking a lot of damage. He is going to have to flash away from this one. He's currently taking too much damage. The Misfortune is so fast with that W, and that's going to be the Lee Sin going down. That is a shutdown in favor of the Misfortune. Rumble is now here. Equalizer is going to come down. It is a pretty big one. It's only really landing on the Elise, though. The Thresh Hook is going to come out. A lot of damage from all of these players. If they just play this correctly, it should be able to kill the Rumble. But right now, Rumble is doing a lot of damage to the Thresh, and it also looks like the Cassiopeia is back in action. Does not have her flash available, though, so it's not going to be able to close the difference, and it's just going to have to leave that one with a shutdown on the Lee Sin, going to the Misfortune, who's currently 2-0-1, and now has herself 150 gold bounty on her head. So interesting plays. Like the Lee Sin went for that Thresh because I think it was the target that was available during that. Unfortunately couldn't get through the minion wave to engage onto that Misfortune, and unfortunately Thresh is just, you know, a little bit tankier than the Misfortune is, and they just could not secure that kill. But a little bit of hope going in favor of that blue side, particularly in the bot lane, because they've now closed that gold lead to just 200 gold. 400 gold now, apparently, after those minions were taken. But Lee Sin is now kind of roaming around, not entirely sure where he wants to go here. He did end up finishing off his Skirmisher Saber with the Warrior enchantment, so that was what he aimed for. Hasn't finished off his boots yet, and has also not done anything with the team map, but Elise going to be caught completely out here. That's going to be plenty. She does have the wolves to jump to, which she does, but the Lee Sin didn't actually use the second part of his Q, so he did actually jump in onto the Elise, but unfortunately Elise does end up getting away with that repel, so very nice play from the Elise getting away from that one, but feel like the team should have been able to clean that one up, knowing very well that the wolves were the only place that she could really jump to. But unfortunately, that is going to be an escaped Elise. And Lee Sin now just going back into his jungle, 97 to 52. But once again, we're still seeing some pretty big leads in favor of the Irelia and also the Lucian. So, you know, can't count this blue side out yet. They're currently winning 6-5, 13.5 minutes into this game. But once again, the gold lead still in favor, just barely, of this red side. So Lee Sin is currently going to help this Rumble. The Equalizer going down is going to slow the Lucian quite a bit. The E's coming down, slowing him down even more, but right now he is overheating. The Safeguard is going to come out. The Q is going to land even after the dash and the flash! And Lee Sin is going to pick up his 4th kill of this game. That was huge. You never flash in a straight line, people, or you never dash in a straight line against the Lee Sin, because it just means death. So Nautilus right now catching the Thresh out a little bit. The Lee Sin does have his kick available as well, so he could get for an execute. The Nautilus ultimate is going to come down. Lee Sin is going to safeguard to the ward, and that is going to be probably a dead Thresh who's going to get it. It is going to be the Lee Sin with that Dragon's Rage execute, and that is going to be his 5th kill of the game. Aatrox just barely trying to survive here against this very mobile Irelia, but with all that being said and done, the Lee Sin is now going to be able to steal the red buff away from the Elise, which, once again, you know, every advantage that this Lee Sin can get over his jungle opponent is a big deal. So 14.5 minutes in this game, 6-7. Elise is going to finish off her blue buff and maybe roam up to the top side, but showing up in the top side means that this Mountain Dragon, which is currently available, is going to be very, very free for the Lee Sin. So an Aatrox is currently 1-3 dying for the Mountain Dragon. And he's going to be able to flash and get away. Great flash over the wall is going to actually save his life. So they got a flash out of the Aatrox, and the red side takes the Mountain Dragon, the second dragon of the game. So I do not really think that that was worth it at all, and it looks like the Cloud Dragon is going to be the one that is going to be summoned this game. That's the soul that we're going to be fighting for. The Cloud Dragon, of course, being a very important one. When you look at this team, especially when everybody has their really, really good ultimates available, having the Cloud Dragon is very, very important for that ultimate cooldown reduction. So when you've got more equalizers, you know, more stone, petrifying gazes, more Dragon's Rage kicks, like all of these are absolutely huge ultimates to have lower cooldowns on. So very curious to see if they're really going to focus on getting that Cloud Soul, because there are already 2 dragons up over the enemy team. So going to be interesting to see how they position this one out. But as we were talking about it before, the Rift Herald is coming up very, very soon, within the next minute. So going to be curious to see if this Lee Sin decides to finish off the blue buff, then maybe go back and then maybe finish off an item and go for the Rift Herald. So he is currently doing 2 camps at the time. This is just like the mechanics that I love seeing. I find this so difficult to do, but he just does it with such ease. So it looks like the Aatrox is finally going to die up in the top lane. He almost killed... Now, I said almost. He actually killed the Elise. This was an Aatrox who was down 0-3, and they just burned his flash, and he just ended up getting a 2v1 kill. Man, way to go, Aatrox, clearly showing up. And to be honest, he's down 20 CS, but, you know, that's not that bad for how many times that he died, and considering the Irelia got first blood, like, I was expecting this Aatrox to just be in the weeds this entire game, like camping under, sitting under turret, trying to get as much farm as he can. But he's actually doing a very good job, and as I said before, so Lee Sin went back, he picked up his Jorum's Fist, so I'm assuming the Jorum's Fist is going to be completed into a Serix Gauge at some point. Not entirely sure when he's going to complete that, what item he wants to complete first, but he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He went back, he picked up his items, got his red buff, and now he's over at that second Rift Herald. Because once again, you just want to get as much damage onto these turrets as possible. The first turret of the game has not yet been taken. So if he goes and drops his Rift Herald in the mid lane, that turret's absolutely gone. In the top lane, it's probably gone as well. So I think he's probably just going to immediately go into lane, drop this Rift Herald, and just secure the first turret of the game for his team. And it looks like that might be exactly what he's going to do here. So he is going to see that this is warded. He's just going to drop the Rift Herald right over the wall. They might very well try to dive this. The Rumble is here as well with the Equalizer available. So the kick is still available as well. The Equalizer is going to come out. It's not actually going to land on anything. The Rift Herald is going to take down the turret. And Lee Sin doing a great insect maneuver with the Control Ward is going to kick the Irelia back into their team. So that is the best thing. It's the thing that I love seeing the most on Lee Sin's, is that amazing insect play. But it looks like the Nautilus is going to gauge on the solution. Everybody's currently here other than Misfortune and the Cassiopeia. The Rift Herald is going to get another attack onto the second tier top lane turret. But that's the true insect maneuver. There are plays, of course, where you can flash R somebody back into your team, but he did it the original way, which was queuing and then safeguarding to a ward that he places behind the enemy and then Dragon's Rage kicking them into the team, which is just amazing. Now Lee Sin is going once again for this Lucian. The Aatrox doing a lot of damage. The Ignite, though, is coming down from the Lucian. It is a mid lane Lucian, remember. Elise is trying to do as much damage as possible as Lee Sin. The Sonic Wave is going to miss. She does also have the Grom to escape from, so once again that Repel coming in handy. And just going to flash over the wall and get a kill onto the Aatrox, so that is unfortunate. Safeguard once again coming down. He is going to hopefully land this Q this time, but no, he's actually going to call it quits, I think. Probably worried, or maybe he knows that this Thresh is coming up. He does know now. So I'm not entirely sure how our Lee Sin is going to get out of this one. This is going to be very interesting. Is going to safeguard to that ward. and he's going to get out of it so far. I think they think he's going to go back. Is he going to be ballsy enough to re-engage? He does have his kick available. If he kicks this Lucian, I'm assuming he's dead. Safeguard coming down. There's the kick. Flash Q, and it's going to be a rampage for this Lee Sin. He is now caught in a little bit of a precarious situation because he is going to get slowed if he walks into there, but he is going to land the Q. Not going to be able to get it off in time. The repel's going to come down. He's healing as much as he can with that Conqueror, but it's not going to be quite enough. He's got the E up. The exhaust is coming down. He does end up getting the kill onto the Elise right before he dies, and the shutdown, fortunately enough for him, is going to go to the Thresh instead of somebody like the Elise or the Lucian. That was such an amazing set of plays from that Lee Sin. 8, 2, and 1 in favor of this Lee Sin. 149 CS. He has more than doubled this Elise's farm. Now, Elise has managed to stay in this game because of the amount of kills that she's gotten, but man, there is just such a difference. This is one of those games where you type in jungle difference. Like, it's really showing in this game. This Lee Sin has done such a good job with objective control and also with kills and with farming. And you know what? It's one of those things that a lot of people tend to say is that sometimes you see those power farming junglers. I want to say also, he did just complete his Sterix Gauge, which is going to be very, very good for him. Of course, getting that additional attack damage, the additional health, and also that lifeline to keep him alive once he's taken some damage. But a lot of people tend to hate those junglers who focus so much on farming because they're not ganking enough. But in all honesty, I feel like this Lee Sin has been playing this game damn near perfectly. He's been farming an incredible amount, but he's also been present in a lot of different lanes at most points in the game, and he's been able to get a lot of the dragons and the Rift Heralds. This is the 3rd dragon of the game, and he's already gotten 2 Rift Heralds. So, you know, farming jungler, but man, he is really securing these objectives for his team and just making it so much easier for his team to just lane safely, knowing that this guy's around. So already about a 3,000 gold lead in favor of this red side. Lee Sin is going to come into this mid lane, but he does actually get an amazing long-range view onto that. He's going to safeguard to a ward as well, putting that control ward down just to make sure that he can secure that kill. He's going to get flayed by this rush. I don't know if Lee Sin's going to be able to get away from this one. Savage is going to go down. Can he safeguard away to the Cassiopeia? The heal is going to come down for the Cassiopeia to save the Lee Sin. The rush is taking a lot of damage. The culling is going to come down. The petrifying gaze was already used. The flash is going to have to come out as well. Lucian trying to do enough damage, but it's not going to be quite enough, and Lee Sin is going to pick up his 10th kill of this game, just healing up so much with that Conqueror, and the heal coming down from the Cassiopeia was just so clean, and the stopwatch purchase as well. You have got to be kidding me. This Lee Sin player is insane. I would hate to face this, and it looks like they're already going for this Baron. The Aatrox did take that 2nd tier turret. The Rumble is coming up to help. And it looks like I would never expect at 21.5 minutes that this team is going for this Baron. So right now everybody's chasing the Aatrox, and even if he dies, it doesn't really matter because his life is currently worth a Baron buff. So very, very impressive stuff. The Baron is going to be secured by this Lee Sin, not even bothering to smite it because he didn't even have it up. The Aatrox ends up surviving for now, but he is ending up dying. But it looks like the team is currently responding to this one. Lee Sin doing a lot of damage to this Misfortune. The Dragon's Rage is not going to connect onto the Misfortune, but he is going to do enough damage to take her down. Elise is going to be the next target here. Elise is going to be taken down, but Lee Sin is going to be killed by the Irelia. It looks like a big shutdown going to the Irelia, but Rumble picking himself up a triple kill, killing the Irelia, the Elise, and also the Thresh. So definitely worthwhile. You know, it was a big shutdown. I think 800 gold or something like that on the Lee Sin. Or sorry, maybe like 750 or 500 gold on the Lee Sin, going over to, I believe it was the Irelia. So that's a big shutdown to be going on somebody like an Irelia, who's quite a hyper carry late in the game. But, you know, there's still 2 Baron buffs available on both the Rumble and also the Cassiopeia. They took the Baron away from the enemy team, and now if they group up, which I think they want to, they can now use that Baron-empowered minions to maybe start pushing maybe the 2nd tier bot lane turret or the 2nd tier mid turret. But overall, just some amazing play. So Lee Sin did opt for the Mercury Treads, which is kind of surprising to me because I guess maybe he's looking more for the tenacity more than the magic resistance, because right now it's just the Elise who's got that magic damage that the Merc Treads are going to help with. But, you know, there is the stun coming up from the Irelia, there's the Cocoon coming up from the Elise, there's the hook coming up from the Thresh. So maybe that he's just looking at the tenacity and he just wants to be able to roam around freely to do his damage. But I would have thought with all the AD on this team that Ninja Tab would have been an interesting pick. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a Korean Grandmaster jungler. So it looks like everybody is kind of starting to group 173 to 88. Man, I'm surprised the support hasn't beaten this Elise yet. But we are looking for kind of the end game fight here. Right now with all these turrets being down, the Baron buff being secure, this is kind of one of those fights that if you get aced at this point with Baron empowered minions, it is going to be rough for you to come back. But Rumble did just get taken out, was caught out by 3 members of this blue side. Looks like the red side is going to be able to take down the second tier turret, but Rumble was one of the few people out of the Cassiopeia and him who still had the Baron buff. So, you know, it's kind of not the person you want to die. Lee Sin is going to go in on this Elise, though. Don't know if he's going to have enough damage, but it's just trying to do a bunch of damage to this Thresh, but the bullet time is going to come out with completely. The Aurelia taking a lot of damage, is going to go down to the Cassiopeia. Elise taking a lot of damage, but once again, that lifeline is going to keep him alive. Great Thresh hook landing onto the Elise, but the Elise is going to get a kill onto the Nautilus. Cassiopeia finding a kill onto the Elise, and right now Aatrox is actually pretty darn big. Is not going to be able to find any more kills, but the Cassiopeia is going to go down. That is the Baron buff gone from this red side. Elise is trying to do as much damage as he can to the Misfortune. The Aatrox is going to be the one to take up that Thresh hook, which is going to be very important for this Lee Sin. And the Lucian is going to go down to the Aatrox. The Thresh is going to go down as the final kill of this current team fight. Lee Sin finding the amazing Sonic Wave onto that Thresh, just landing it right into his face, securing himself the 13th kill in his pocket this game. 24.5 minutes into this game, and we are looking at the first inhibitor going down. Now, all the Baron buffs are gone from this red side, but it does not matter because the Baron buff did exactly what it needed to do. It pushed down a bunch of turrets and an inhibitor and won them a team fight. So I think they are going to be pretty happy with that one. Lee Sin is going to maybe engage. Oh, is not going to engage, just safeguarding over to a ward. See, this is what I love about watching Lee Sin players who are good. Just all the ways that they can maneuver their champion is so cool. So safeguard. Sorry, the Sonic Wave going a little bit wide there. Aatrox is going to try to find this Elise, but it's not going to work. But some damage over the wall. The dragon is coming up in 30 seconds. That last Cloud Dragon, which would be the Dragon Soul for this red side. I can't imagine they're not going to want to go for that. So I'm assuming this Lee Sin is probably going to take this blue buff and then go back, spend his well-earned gold, and then go for that dragon. But he's actually not going to go back. He's not going back to spend his gold. He's just going straight for this dragon. It looks like the team has already started off. Lee Sin is trying to get here, using that safeguard in the mid lane to try to just get here a little bit quicker. The enemy team is here, though. A lot of damage coming down. A great equalizer is going to slow down that Misfortune. The Elise is going to use that Hourglass, but it looks like the Lee Sin is going to smite that dragon away. That is going to be the Dragon Soul. So a lot of ultimate cooldowns now available for this team, which is just incredible. So now Petrify and Gaze on a 64-second cooldown, 38-second for the Dragon's Rage, 54-second for the Rumble Equalizer. Like, that was the exact thing that this team wanted, was getting that Cloud Dragon Soul. And once again, Lee Sin just not going back. I guess he did B. Well, actually, no, it's been a long time. He's got this BF sword, which I'm not entirely sure what he's going to build this into, but I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he upgrades his Tiamat finally into a Ravenous. He doesn't. So there you go. He does get the Ravenous Hydra, but he also picks himself up a Guardian Angel. Woo! So that's what he turned that BF sword into. So now he's got the Ravenous Hydra, the Guardian Angel, the Sterix Gauge, and also the Warrior Enchant with some Merc Tread. So this guy's pretty tanky, but also does an insane amount of damage. So I'm not entirely sure how this enemy team is going to deal with this. Even the Aatrox managed to come back in this game, which is very, very impressive to me after the pretty horrendous start that he had in that early game. But everybody on this team is playing very, very well. On both sides, things seem to be going very, very well. But the Lucian is going to get hit up by that Nautilus. The Dragon's Rage is going to come out onto the Thresh. Don't think it was the target that he wanted, but he did also knock up the Elise with that kick. The Thresh is currently at about like 50% HP, almost a quarter HP. The culling is not going to be enough to actually kill the Lucian, but that is two big ultimates coming down from that boost that they now don't have. The Dragon's Rage isn't going to be enough, but he doesn't even need it to kill the Thresh. Aatrox is currently popping that ultimate and trying to chase people down, but the Lucian is going to be able to flash away from that one and do enough damage to kill the Aatrox. Elise is also dead to the Rumble. Right now it is just the Lucian and also the Irelia to stop this onslaught on their base. The Lee Sin is going to try to chase down this Lucian, and it doesn't even matter. Even if the Lee Sin dies, he has got that Guardian Angel, so he's going to be absolutely fine even if he dies underneath that turret. It is just the Irelia now trying to fend off the onslaught of 4 members of this red side, and it looks like Lee Sin does not want to end it there. He wants this kill onto the Irelia, but no, they are not going to go for it. It looks like they are just going to end up ending this game in just such a clean fashion, it seems. The Dragon's Rage is available, so I wonder if he's going to get the cake. He is going to get the cake, interrupting that W. The Stasis is going to come out from the Irelia, but I think she is still probably going to die anyways. The Cassiopeia picking up that kill. I don't think Lee Sin wants to take that Sonic Wave into the fountain, but it would be really, really funny if he did. He still also has his Guardian's Angel available, so even if he dies, he is currently just in such a good position. The ultimate coming down, the Equalizer is going to slow down the Misfortune and also the Elise. Lots of damage coming down from that Flame Sorter, but I don't know if they're going to have enough, but it looks like that is actually the download fail. Unfortunately, the replay file did get interrupted there. Apparently, the download was a little bit corrupt, but they did end the game right after those couple kills. So let's go check out the end game screen to see how well our Lee Sin did this game. Our Lee Sin had an incredible game, ending this one at 15 kills, 3 deaths, and 10 assists with a total KDA of 8.33. In terms of the endgame stats, Lee Sin dealt 7,000 damage more than the second place damage dealer on his team, which was that Aatrox, while also taking 7,000 damage more than the Aatrox, but died far less. He additionally had 120 more CS than his jungle opponent, placed 8 more wards, and earned over 6,000 more gold. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe if you want to see more content, and also leave a comment to let me know what champion you want me to focus on next time. You can also see all the other #1 player videos in the playlist attached. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.